HDR look on the Samsung Q9FN compared to the LG B7 OLED TV. Let's take a look. In this shot, the camera is exposed for the Samsung Q9FN's highlights. In this shot, the camera is exposed for the LG B7 OLED's highlights. And in this shot, I brought the properly exposed shots from the previous two and put them side by side so you can see them together with both having proper exposure. So we don't get too hung up on color, I've removed the saturation from this shot so you can see the differences in detail on each TV.
Q9FN on the left and LG OLED on the right. Yeah, Q9 wins in this one.
You guys can skip to 4 minutes and 18 seconds if you don't want to watch me adjust the settings and attempt to get them evenly matched in terms of lift, gamma, gain, luminance, or rather shadow detail, midtone detail, and highlight detail based on what I know these settings to be doing. So I'm kind of winging it here, and we're going to kind of look at this together and see if we can get these panels evenly matched for a decent side-by-side. I wonder if Artings would let me borrow their Klein K10. Alright, finally. So on the left we have the 2018 Samsung Q9FN, and on the right we have the 2017 LG B7 OLED. Both are 65-inch panels. It's really hard to do these side-by-sides because the camera can only expose for one TV or the other, and the Q9 is a few stops brighter than the OLED. So since we're talking about the Q9, I've exposed for the Q9FN, and unfortunately that makes the OLED look a little dimmer, but I think that the goal is to show the difference in highlight, brightness, and detail and the 3D pop between the two. and that is very evident no matter which TV you expose for. And keep in mind, if I expose for the OLED, then the Q9FN looks overexposed. And if I expose for the Q9, then the OLED looks underexposed. And it's not realistic to expose for both separately and then pull them in together into the same shot, because then they look like they're evenly matched in terms of brightness. And to be honest, one of the main selling points is how bright the highlights are on the Q9FN. So it would be really misleading if I did that. So if I were to, film them separately and then pull them both in together and do the side-by-side that way, I think it would mislead people. But either way, someone's going to complain. So if you guys want me to do that, I guess I can in a separate video or in a follow-up video. So yeah, if that's something you want me to do in the future, let me know in the comments. I gotta say, I've adjusted the OLED settings every which way to try to make it compete with the Q9FN. It just cannot compete. The Q9 has that similar 3D effect like the X930E has. Yeah, I really haven't seen that on very many TVs. I've seen it on the Z9D, the 940E, and the 930E Sony TVs, and now we have it on the Q9FN. It is that really interesting but smooth, or let me not say smooth, because it's not really smooth on the Sony TVs. On the Sony TVs, it's very pronounced and almost surreal looking. This is a little more lifelike. It really looks like you're looking outside of a window in a lot of scenes. It's really crazy. The OLED used to give me that window effect, and now I think the Q9FN has taken its place. The Q9 is the new TV to simulate looking out a window. So I'm going to continue forward matching the TVs through the different picture profiles and kind of analyzing how the HDR video on YouTube is played back on both of these TVs side by side. So for the remainder of the video, I'm going to play the same video again, but under different picture profiles to see if we can get a drastically different look out of either TV. I've already done this on other videos, and let me tell you, on the Samsung, different picture profiles drastically change the look, even if all the settings are exactly the same. So basically on the Samsung, what you have is, I guess, dynamic, standard, natural, and movie. It's 4 different looks. I mean, it really doesn't matter what you change the settings to. All 4 of those picture modes look quite a bit different. It's cool because I'm finding myself using each of those picture modes for different things. For example, I've been using standard for when I use it as a PC monitor, and I use natural most of the time. I think natural is my favorite picture mode on the Q9FN, and I like movie mode when watching like animations or something that's a little bit oversaturated that I want to pull back. Movie mode is also good for older content because back in the day, movies weren't as saturated, and so that's kind of the look that you would expect from some of that older content. And when you flip it over to natural or dynamic or standard, you start getting that, I guess I'll call it the QLED look or the QLED look, which is really 10-bit I don't know any other way to put it. You're getting a lot of the color that wasn't there before. So when I watch my older childhood movies like the Goonies, Ghostbusters, movies like that, those movies didn't have a lot of color to begin with. So I like movie mode for those movies, but for newer stuff, especially like the Netflix originals, I tend to lean towards the natural picture mode on the Samsung. Okay, I'm rambling. I don't want to talk too much. I have a lot of tests to finish up on this TV compared to our other TVs. But I just wanted to get this video on HDR out to you guys so you can kind of see what I'm seeing.
subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you guys get notified when we post a new video.
Yeah, listen, I am what I am today, 'cause I did it my way, nothing y'all can say. In this life or the next